you everyone for joining us to this post-SAP Ariba Live webinar. James Marland, our VP Network Value, and myself are going to take you through all the hot topics that have been discussed during this wonderful event. Welcome, James.
Thanks, Samia. I think most of the viewers on the webinar will be familiar with the television show Gogglebox. The way that show works is a piece of tape is played and then we react to it with our own observations and reactions. We're going to do the same thing with the SAP Ariba Live event that finished in Prague a couple of weeks ago. So we're going to start off by playing the whole tape, which is only 3 minutes long, and then we'll interpret it for you. So let's go ahead and play that videotape.
We have more than 1,500 people here in Prague. And I want to say thank you for taking your time to be with us over the next 3 days. So let's get started and have a wonderful and excellent SAP Ariba Live.
I really love procurement. Believe it or not, our mission is still absolutely the same. We want to make procurement awesome. And that's what we're going to do.
Getting procurement right is the difference between success and failure in the marketplace.
If you're looking at a complete end-to-end digital transformation, the S4 or S4HANA Cloud and Ariba is clearly the best solution.
We have the world's largest network. What we can bring is value in the direct material space and in the supply chain space. So these are the two key components where Ariba can be a big player for direct.
No Ariba, no business. You can order what you want, but if it is outside Ariba, it won't be paid. And believe me, the suppliers understand very well this message.
Today, I'd like to announce a new partnership that we have formed together with Mercateo.
Mercateo is the European leader in the field of non-contracted spend.
It is a true game changer, something that we're unbelievably excited about.
My name is Ntabi Singh from South Africa. I'm saving lives and I want to make procurement awesome.
I'm Krastjo and I make procurement awesome.
Og jeg er med til at gøre indkøb fantastisk.
Soy Ricardo, trabajo para Experian y estoy haciendo procurement awesome.
Hi, my name is Suresh and I make procurement awesome.
It's been fabulous. It's my first time at SAP Ariba Live. And for me, it's about the community.
For me, I'm new to this world, and I'm trying to see how I can learn some tips and tricks.
This is a golden opportunity for me to meet with other customers in this golden city.
I mean, in 2.5 days, to meet so many people, to share so much knowledge, that's fantastic.
And it's become an event that I'd want to be coming back to every year.
So we covered the power of partnership, we covered the power of innovation. But honestly, the greatest power of all is purpose.
Companies who put purpose as part of their strategic objectives are succeeding in today's environment.
We believe that there are sort of two phases to making the supply chain have more purpose. The first phase is eliminating the bad. The second phase is proactively doing good.
It's actually pretty important. I mean, the business we're in is saving and improving lives.
And what I think that we miss out on, both as individuals and as companies, is we underestimate how powerful we really are and how much we can change the world.
Think about the purpose, about how we can work together to make the world a better place. We need you, we need your ideas, we need your passion, and we need your commitment, and ultimately your leadership to make procurement awesome.
Ah, Prague, the city of 100 spires. Its beauty, its history goes back a millennium. But why Prague, James?
Well, actually, I think Prague was a pretty good choice for Ariba Live. It's centre of Europe, for one thing, and the technical universities make it a great hotbed for innovation, so it's full of tech people. Now, if you remember, it was pretty warm that week in Prague, so it's just as well that Prague is, don't tell the Germans, but the best beer in Europe. And one last thing is it's the location for our shared service centre in Prague. So we were able to take delegates from the Ariba Live conference to the shared service centre where they could see people actually using SAP and Ariba to create purchase orders and reconcile invoices. So I think all around Prague was a great location for us.
We have more than 1,500 people here in Prague. And I want to say thank you for taking your time to be with us over the next 3 days. So let's get started and have a wonderful and excellent SAP Ariba Live.
1,500 people in that event. Wow, I was really impressed on my first SAP Ariba Live. Wasn't it too many people, or was it always like this, James?
Your first one?
Yes.
Well, I think I've been to about 18 of these, but I still tell you, it's certainly the busiest I've been to in Europe. 1,500 people was a lot, and one of the reasons was because, remember that late announcement we had about IBM just a few weeks away? That really created a big surge in attendance because everyone wanted to learn about cognitive procurement. You remember how crowded the Hilton was, right? So we had the executive forum was in the restaurant, and the videotaping was done in the gym, and the demo theatre was done in the bar, which of course meant the demo theatre was always busy.
Getting procurement right is the difference between success and failure in the marketplace.
The combinations of S4HANA and SAP Ariba are now the hot topics.
Yeah.
Are these two solutions complementing each other?
Yes, I would say they do complement each other, Samia. I mean, on the tape, we just saw Darren Roos. He's head of S4HANA Cloud for SAP, and we were pleased to have him in Prague. He talked about the fact that there is one roadmap and one solution across the whole of SAP for our procurement solutions. For some customers, that'll be S4 with the network. Other customers will take Ariba components as well. So there really is one joint roadmap. So there's no more confusion over what we're doing. And the great thing about being part of SAP, Alex in his early speech there talked about, remember, the power of and, yeah?
Yes.
So the power of and is SAP and Ariba coming together. And this means we get access to all of SAP's technologies like HANA, but also some of the new stuff like SAP Leonardo. So we're much, much stronger using our full name, of course, which is SAP Ariba. So together with the power of and, we get access to all these great things.
If you're looking at a complete end-to-end digital transformation, the S4 or S4HANA Cloud and Ariba is clearly the best solution.
Chris Hayden talks about customer success, and Pascal Delval from Auchan says, no Ariba, no business. It seems like we are really capturing the customer experience, James. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. One of the important things about these kind of conferences from Ariba is it's not really about us speaking. We want to hear from the customers. So that's why Chris hosted this panel. There were just 4 on stage, of course. There wasn't time for everybody. But in the breakouts, we had, I think, over 50 customers speaking. So yeah, let's go back to that comment from Pascal. So his quote again was?
No Ariba, no business.
No Ariba, no business, yeah. He means that in Auchan, if you want to get anything done by anything, you have to go through Ariba. I'm just looking through some of the tweets I sent out during that session. Look at this one here. So he was asked, what should Ariba do better? And
Americans need to speak French.
Americans need to speak French. Great line. Touche, exactly. And then also he talked about his program as being En Marche, which is the name of that new political party in France. They just had elections, as you remember. So it's always great to hear from customers. And they really are the most important part of these kind of events. And as you remember, on the last day, we actually got them up on stage and gave them awards for the best ones.
No Ariba, no business. You can order what you want, but if it is outside Ariba, it won't be paid. And believe me, the suppliers understand very well this message.
Regarding the new partnership with Mercateo, is it Mercateo?
Mercateo, we've been practicing this. Well done. Mercateo.
Paul Devlin said it's a new game. What does this mean, new game?
So, first of all, he's talking about the spot buy program that we've introduced. It was great to see Paul on stage, wasn't it? Always good to have the boss up there doing a nice job, so well done, Paul. He introduced Mercateo as a spot buy capability to really have content turned on for all customers here in Europe. So it's been very successful in the US, and we've been waiting for it, right? I keep seeing all this stuff, and now we've got it in Europe through this partnership. But the interesting thing about Mercateo is they have this capability called Unite, where they can actually pay suppliers directly through their own platform without having to create a whole mass of suppliers in your ERP. And that's always been the barrier for us here in Europe, where we don't have things like P-cards. So the partnership's great, and what it means for customers is they get access to literally millions of items of content at the flick of a switch, but they still have the control that procurement people really like. So yeah, really exciting. And nice job, Paul.
Yeah, it's nice to see Paul Devlin when you understand Scottish.
My name is Ntabi Singh from South Africa. I'm saving lives and I want to make procurement awesome.
I'm Krastjo and I make procurement awesome.
Og jeg er med til at gøre indkøb fantastisk.
Soy Ricardo, trabajo para Experian y estoy haciendo procurement awesome.
I found it really nice when all these customers, they stopped at the booth and they were doing the shots of videos. We had 105 videos, James, and for SAP Ariba Las Vegas, they had only 65.
Beat those Americans again, huh?
So I was just so proud to be a part of this organization, to be SAP Ariba, when all these customers said they wanted to make procurement awesome.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it good? Because Alex said if we got to 100 videos that we would write a nice big check to Samasource, was the company that Alicia introduced, who were going to use that to promote small businesses in the poorest parts of the world. So we were able to make a nice donation to her organization. As you know, video is not so easy, right? But I think our customers did a nice job. Some of them were like, serious, and some were absolutely hilarious, and a lot weren't even in English. So if you look at all 100, I tell you, you really do see how much the customers like making procurement awesome. So that was a nice initiative, I thought.
It's been fabulous. It's my first time at SAP Ariba Live. And for me, it's about the community.
For me, I'm new to this world, and I'm trying to see how I can learn some tips and tricks.
This is a golden opportunity for me to meet with other customers in this golden city.
I mean, in 2.5 days, to meet so many people, to share so much knowledge, that's fantastic.
And it's become an event that I want to be coming back to every year.
Community. While I was walking around in the marketplace, I've seen all these customers going around and having the videos to be done. And all these customers, they were using the same word, is community. So I did not really understand why they were talking about community in a procurement event, because this is my first Ariba Live, so I didn't understand what is the relationship between community and the procurement. Can you explain this to me, please?
Okay. So you said your first Ariba Live, yeah?
Yes.
Well, don't worry, because 60% of the delegates said it was their first Ariba Live as well. And they come to events like this to learn from other people, and that's one aspect of this word community that maybe you heard. So as I observed when I walked around the trade show, I saw lots of times 2 or 3 customers all speaking to each other about, I don't know, best practices, the way to use the software, gossip, or some of the new innovations. And that's really why people come to these events. But the other aspect of community, which is interesting, is we invite suppliers to Ariba Live as well as buyers. And so buyers get to interact with a whole bunch of suppliers as well, so that they can learn how they're using Ariba and using the Ariba network. One of the best sessions I went to, actually, one of the breakouts in the afternoon, was where we had on stage a buyer, Gazuni, and a supplier, Schweitzer, and they talked about how they both work together using the Ariba network. So it's really interesting, and that's another example of community, because oftentimes when you go to these kind of conferences, you only ever see one side of the picture.
So we covered the power of partnership, we covered the power of innovation. But honestly, the greatest power of all is purpose.
Companies who put purpose as part of their strategic objectives are succeeding in today's environment.
We believe that there are sort of 2 phases to making the supply chain have more purpose. The first phase is eliminating the bad. The second phase is proactively doing good.
It's actually pretty important. I mean, the business we're in is saving and improving lives.
And what I think that we miss out on, both as individuals and as companies, is we underestimate how powerful we really are and how much we can change the world.
Think about the purpose, about how we can work together to make the world a better place. We need you, we need your ideas, we need your passion, and we need your commitment, and ultimately your leadership to make procurement awesome.
James, Alicia introduced the CEO for Samasource, and if I understood it correctly, Samasource, they give fundings to entrepreneurs in poor countries to start new businesses. So can you tell me how the procurement be be involved in this kind of product and in this kind of projects or products?
So it's I found this segment actually to be probably the most moving for me of the whole 3 days, where we learned that procurement can do good. And Alicia introduced Samasource, and we made a donation to them because big companies in the audience place literally tens of billions of dollars of contracts every year, and we get to choose where that money is spent. As you know, SAP's slogan is make the world run better. And so this is one of the ways that we can do that in procurement. Now, I think you're also impressed with the second speaker, right?
Oh, yes. That one, Justin Dillon, was really impressing. What he is young and all this, his power and his energy he's got in him, how he wants to change the world is just impressing.
Yeah, so he's from an NGO called Made in a Free World. I've met him a couple of times, actually. He is pretty inspiring. I spoke to my daughter about this initiative that we have at SAP to eliminate slavery in supply chains. And she, for the first time ever, was actually interested in what I do at work. Normally she has no idea. She doesn't even know what I work for. But really, she was actually interested that something as boring as procurement could actually make such an impact on people's lives by putting in place procedures and programs to eliminate slavery in supply chain. And one of the comments that Justin makes is that, forced labor and slavery in the modern day has been caused by multinational companies. But you know what? It's multinational companies that can actually fix the problem. And he's personally motivated to do so. So it's a great partnership that we have with those guys. I'm really proud, frankly, that Alicia has now pushed this procurement with a purpose agenda on Ariba. It's been lacking for some time, and I think it's a really great thing.
I bet your daughter now, after her graduation, she would like to have a job at SAP Ariba.
Well, more likely now than before, because she understands that procurement with a purpose, it's a big deal, right?
Yeah. James, have you had the chance to see that magician with the drones around him?
Well, Marco. Yeah, what a great idea to have at this conference. We saw him at an SAP event in January, and Paul impressed him so much that we thought we'd have him over here. At first we thought, magician, are you sure? But this guy, I mean, he was I think he's like a cyber magician or like a techno magician. But the thing with the drones at the end, when they were all flying around his head, and then he opened up the suitcase and they all flew into the suitcase. Man, it was really clever. I love that. But he was really talking about as well, he tied it together with innovation, and his comment was, this kind of magic trick, you're not sure whether you're looking at something that's impressive technically or impressive as a feat of conjuring. And that's sort of where he sees his act, as the sort of the coming together of technology and magic. So yeah, you should book him for your next kid's party. It might be quite expensive though. What a great guy, Marco, from Switzerland.
James, is it the first time that you do in SAP Ariba Live Awards?
Yep, it's the first time we've done them.
But I've noticed that there was an award. The first one was given to employees, which is the Alliance team. Mm-hmm. They have received the award from Alex, I think. So I'm very surprised that the employees who are normally you just see them in the back office, you see them having meetings in meeting rooms, or you see them traveling, and they receive awards about a customer work.
Yes, it's interesting. So we have customer success awards, first time, as you said, and we'll see in a moment that mainly customers get them. But we wanted to acknowledge that part of customer success is, our Ariba people, they help them out. And so the first award we presented was to Martin Rickman and his team at Allianz. It's been a project with some ups and downs. It's really great how the teams pull them through and come together to give the customer success. So yeah, it was nice to see Martin's team get that first award. The second award was given to a supplier. You remember how earlier on I talked about the community of buyers and suppliers? And so this time we gave the award to a supplier, because to make procurement awesome, you need to have suppliers on board as well. So the second award went to Manutan, who is a supplier to many of the Ariba customers who are in the room. So it just shows that the community needs suppliers as well. So good job, Manutan, for picking up that award.
I've noticed that one customer has been given innovation award. I was very surprised to see that, because usually innovation is the organization, is not a customer. It's what we create, and then what we create, we sell it to customers. We sell to the customer our, let's say, digital transformation, which is innovation, or we sell our solution, which is our innovation, but never customer wins award.
So it's interesting, because at Ariba we have a slightly different view about innovation. So it's not really our innovation. We talk a lot about co-innovating with our customers. And the customer who won the innovation award, or co-innovation as it probably should be called, was BASF, who were instrumental in helping us design our supplier management solution, which we showcased on the second day there. So yes, absolutely, innovation is not just something that we do, it's something that we do with customers, which is why we recognized BASF this time.
Talking about what Alicia has introduced in this Ariba Live this year, there is an award has been given for the purpose.
Purpose, that's right.
And purpose, I just love that idea of purpose. Especially when this African, this NetBank,
that's right. Yeah.
NetBank, this African bank was showing how they can help the disadvantaged backgrounds or disadvantaged communities to use by using procurement. So can you give me more insights on that,
Well, I think
please?
you've covered it pretty well, actually, but you're exactly right, and it's great that we recognize NetBank. They're a nice super company to work with, and how they're promoting the use of procurement, as you said, to encourage disadvantaged businesses in their communities. And it's part of now, as you said, as one of their new corporate goals to use procurement for good. So it's great that Alicia's rolled this program out, and it's exciting that someone like NetBank can win this award.
Regarding the session for the Brexit with Roger Bootle.
Yep.
It came exactly after the elections.
I know.
That was so embarrassing. And then, I don't know, I think he probably had to change his slides, I suppose. But there is something that I still don't have an answer. I really was looking forward to this session, but I still don't get an answer. He still, in his presentation, he was saying that Brexit can be threat or can be opportunity. So how can it be both?
Yeah, he was a good speaker. I think I actually got to my notes here. It was a two moleskin kind of a conference. But one of the things he talked about was tariffs, which I never really understood before, about the different ways tariffs work within the EU and outside the EU. And he felt actually that it should go for a unilateral free trade. Britain should do, like Singapore. So yeah, it was a lot of things to think about for procurement people, because if we come out of the EU, which we're going to, then it's going to affect a lot of prices, a lot of access to talent, a lot of logistics, and so on. One of the comments from the floor, which I thought was funny, because Paul Devlin was chairing, right, was a question about what do we do if Scotland leaves the UK, and I thought Paul was very diplomatic with his answer on that one.
I had the privilege to be invited to the Women's Leadership Lunch.
Actually, it was called a luncheon.
And there were two CEOs. One of them was from Samasource. That she did excellent presentation, and so inspiring. That organization really is inspiring what they do all around Africa. But there is something that really struck me, is when I received the invitation, it was said, ladies luncheon, invited to that. But I've seen around me many men were sitting in that hall.
Yes, actually, I received an invite as well to the women's luncheon. In fact, the total number of attendees at the lunch was by far the largest we've ever had. This is a program that Alicia's developed over the years. It's now, I think, 260 attendees in Prague. But the interesting thing is, it isn't like a women-only crowd, and so the idea is to promote the diversity in the workplace, and to do that, you need to speak to men too. In fact, I actually co-hosted a session with one of my colleagues, Catherine Hills, who spoke about the power of branding for women, which is an interesting way of looking at it. So, yes, women leadership doesn't just mean it's women getting together. It's all about diversity in the workplace. Okay, I think we should probably wrap it up there. I think I could sit here on these chairs all day running through this video, but that's probably enough for the viewers that we have watching. If you need additional resources, we have, of course, almost the whole of Ariba Live on YouTube channel. Most of the breakout sessions have the audio and the slides available on SlideShare, so just search them on there. And of course, anything else you need, you can find on our website, which is sapariba.com.
And thank you everyone for watching our video. I hope that you enjoyed our webcast. As James just said, remember you've got all the resources available that we will be showing at the end of this webcast. Thank you, James.